All right, Team Grit, welcome. Thanks for giving us some time on Wednesday night. I know you guys have other stuff to do and other calls, so we appreciate it. I don't have anything like super scripted or PowerPoint, but there's been a few things over the past several days that have kind of just spoken to me, and I wanted to share with you guys. I just felt like some stuff that might help. And it's probably similar to what Sabrina's going to talk about. We did not get together and share. So if there's repetition, I'm sorry. But what I wanted to kind of highlight tonight is thoughts, beliefs, and vision, and how those kind of intertwine and how they relate to one another. And at least how my brain functions is if I can kind of understand where things, if you guys can just make sure you're on mute. Let me see. You know, all right, I think we're good. If you guys can kind of understand why you're thinking a certain way, why you're feeling a certain way, and not necessarily assign like that's good or bad, or that's what I should or shouldn't be doing, just kind of be able to appreciate what's going on in your head. I feel like you're more likely to be able to work through it, because we're going to all have all sorts of thoughts and all sorts of feelings about this business. And there's going to be some days when you love it and some days where you're like, I don't know if this is for me. And to be prepared for that and just know how to work through those things in your head has been helpful for me to learn. And that's really what I want to do, is pass that on, because I feel like it took me a while to kind of wade through that, and I'm still learning it for sure. All right, but so your beliefs, people say beliefs, your beliefs are really birthed from your thoughts, all right? And what you believe and what you think is going to be kind of hand in hand with your vision, and they can affect each other. And really what you need to know is what you think and believe is going to result in feelings. So that's where we're feeling happy about our business, or we're feeling sad or frustrated about our business. There's thoughts that preceded those. And the cool thing is we can be in control of our thoughts. Now it's really easy for me to say, I'm like, we can control our thoughts. Just think something different and you'll feel something different. But we can start to take steps towards capturing certain thoughts that are triggering certain feelings. So that's really step one, is just being aware of what is there a pattern? Am I noticing something where it's triggering me to not feel so happy, triggering me to be more frustrated about certain aspects of my business? And really externally processing this stuff is the way to go. I've done so many hours of talking with Natalie and Sabrina about which parts of my business I like and which parts I don't. And you're going to have parts you like and parts you don't. That's okay. And what that means. And it's usually tied to something not to do with the business. But if I hadn't taken the time to talk to them about that, I really would have never figured it out. But I want you to think about what you are thinking on a regular basis about your capacity to do this, what you're thinking on a regular basis about network marketing in general, and kind of what you think other people think about it. That's a thought too. It's an assumption, but it's a thought. And then kind of, again, what you think about the products. I think most of us in here are pretty firm believers in the products, or we really wouldn't be here. But you can build your belief in the products. I was talking to somebody the other day. I don't have this like crazy dramatic health story. I really believe in the products, but honestly, other people's health journeys have made me believe more in the products than my own journey personally. And that's okay too. But what are you thinking about yourself is probably one of the biggest pitfalls I see. And I just want you guys to know, I know that you can do this. And I know all of you can be successful. You have the ingredients, you have the components to absolutely succeed in this. All of us are going to do it in a different way and at different speed. And that's okay, because we all have different backgrounds and we've come from different places, and our journey's not meant to look like other people's. And I know that's so like cliche, and we always say that, but it really is. And I have to remind myself of this daily, because I'm in all these groups with other jewels who are doing all sorts of other things, and it's real easy to start looking sideways and being like, well, I'm not doing that. Well, I'm not as fast as that. And you can't do that. I'm right where I'm supposed to be at this time. And you guys are too, but that doesn't mean we can't go faster if you want to. So I want you to ask yourself, do you really believe you can do this? And you know what? At first, I don't know if I did. Natalie believed in me way more than I did. And so if that's a struggle for you, share that with me or Sabrina, and let's talk through that. Why do you think, what is it about you that you think is different than me or different than Sabrina or different than somebody else? And you do have to find a jewel that you really relate to, and that might not be me, and that's okay. You got to find someone with a similar personality, Enneagram background as you. Teachers, I send diamond docs from teachers to teachers, that and healthcare workers I can relate to more. You got to find your connection, but you must take time to think about and be real honest. Come to Jesus. Do I believe I can do this? Because listen, if you don't believe you can, people can sense that, and they're not gonna believe you can. They're gonna follow whatever your thoughts are, if you're acknowledging them or not. So we just need to think about it. Don't be afraid of what the answer is. Like, we'll figure it out. And I want you to ask yourself, do you know and expect a struggle in this business? I listened to a coaching thing today that she asked somebody, tell me something you did, something amazing you did that was really easy. And the person really couldn't give an answer. And she pushed her and was like, well, tell me something really hard that you're proud of. And she came up with a marathon, and she was like, did you ever recommend people do marathons? She's like, yeah, why would you do that? That's not fun. That's a lot of pain. That's a lot of sacrifice. She's like, well, for what the sense of accomplishment was, and the sense of overcoming my discomfort and setting a goal and reaching it, that feeling was worth getting up in the morning, was worth the blisters, was worth the discomfort. So yeah, I want other people to get that feeling. And she's like, that's what it is right there. Of course, this is going to be a struggle. Of course, this is going to be hard. Things in life, of course, choose your heart, all that stuff, but you really have to go through that with yourself. And this can be something that you can be really proud of working for. I mean, think of like, I had a fertility struggle with my kids. I went through 2 years of crazy drugs, crazy shots, crazy doctors. I had a vision of my future with kids, and I was going to do whatever it took, however uncomfortable it was. We do that with nursing kids, with freaking raising kids. Like, we have a vision of what we want and we pursue it. And I mean, at any time I could have opted like, no, I'll just pass on kids for now. Like, so you have to decide, what are you going for? Where are you headed? What are you going for? And people are going to feel that. Something else that I heard is, whatever's holding you back at this rank will hold you back at your next rank. And that really got me, because a lot of times we can say, well, things will be better when I make this, when things will be better when I get promoted to this, I'll feel this way when I get to this point in my business, when I find this one person in my business. It's not the case. I'm telling you. That doesn't mean you don't want to pursue things and things be good, but you got to recognize, hey, what am I struggling with right now? And if you don't like the word struggle, like, find something else. Struggle means you're trying. Struggle means you care. All right. It's like a marriage where there's some fighting. That means like you give a crap. If you've gotten to a point where you don't even argue with each other anymore, like, how vested are you? Not that you guys get what I'm saying, not that you shouldn't. But this, I want to read you, I'm going to be boring and read you part of this, an excerpt from this book, the 12-week year, but it's talking about like an emotional connection with your business. And it just resonated like crazy with me. Without a compelling reason to choose otherwise, people will choose comfortable actions over uncomfortable. The issue is that important actions are often the uncomfortable ones. In my experience, the number one thing that will get you to sacrifice to be great and to achieve what you're capable of is to execute your plans outside your comfort zone. The secret of living your life to its potential is to value the important stuff above your own comfort. So valuing the important stuff above your own comfort, what gets you there? A compelling vision of your future. You have to want even more than your desire over short-term comfort. So short-term comfort in this business looks like not bringing up the business when you're signing someone, not following up about products because you might feel annoying, not reaching out because you don't want to field an objection, or even if you got an objection or someone was rude, not circling back to them, not getting on and talking on your stories, doing the uncomfortable things, doing the hard things. If you're leaning towards your comfort zone, which by the way is totally normal, totally natural, totally to be expected. That's normal, all right? It's abnormal to lean into discomfort. But when you lean into discomfort, the only thing that's going to get you to do that is to have a compelling vision of your future. And your future has to be different than it is now. And that was one other part that I'm trying to remember where it was. I can't remember it. I'll find it in a second. But it was saying you have to want something different than you have now. It can't be a little bit of extra money would be nice. A little bit of extra time would be nice. You have to have a vision of your future that is dramatically different than where you find yourself now. And do you have a sense of urgency? That's another question I really want you to check in and take the temperature on. If you don't have a sense of urgency about sharing the business and sharing the products, I would say you need to work on belief. Because if you really believed that these products would get people off these medications that are freaking killing them, literally, guys, I mean, of course, there's great things about modern medicine, but unfortunately right now it's doing more harm than good in a lot of places. So if you really believed we had options for people, some haters out there would not slow you down. You would be talking to freaking everybody, because if you talk to 100 people and 2 or 3 of them, you get them off these medicines that could shorten their life and is decreasing the quality of their life, just a few people, that would be worth it. If you really thought you could help somebody financially and show them and bring them to us and help us teach with you, guys, there's people who are about to lose their houses. There's people telling their kids they can't go to certain colleges that they got into because they can't afford it. There's people pulling their kids out of extracurriculars. And then, yeah, they'll be okay. There's people who are having trouble buying groceries, guys. Like, there's people having serious trouble, and we have answers to the number 2 problems, 2 problems, finances and health struggles, guys. And so you got to do a gut check with where is my belief level, and where is my urgency, because your belief level should be tied to your urgency, and then your comfort level is tied to your vision. So those are the 2 things to check. If you don't have a sense of urgency, then we need to build your belief. That's okay. I'm not saying like you should have this. Just check, where is it at? Where's the scale? And let's do something about it. And I have to work on mine constantly. Okay. And then where's your comfort level? How uncomfortable are you willing to get? And if you're not willing to get really uncomfortable, all that means is we need to work on your vision of your future. And that's going to look different than mine. And guys, this changes. When I was up all night working 24-hour shifts and away from my kids and having to toss a coin on which holidays I was around, I wanted to be around. That was my vision. It was compelling. It was strong. I didn't really give a shit what anybody said. I was going to share the business. I was going to work so I could be home with my kids. I'm there now. So I'm rewriting my vision of what I want now. I achieved that. And so you got to constantly morph with it. All right. And then the last thing I'd say is, stop thinking about, really when we go wrong with this business or struggle or slow down, we're thinking about us. How fast am I growing? What are people going to say? What are people going to think? I, me, I. This is about what we can do for them. Now, of course, like I want to be successful in this business too, but your focus and most of your energy has to be on that urgency of helping people solve their problems, and the rest will work itself out. Business builders will come. Okay. Everybody will come. They will see your belief. They will feel your belief, your urgency, your seriousness, your compelling future that you're chasing. They will feel that you know where you're going. And that's the last thing I'm going to say is, do you know where you're going? 1,000%. And Brittany Howard always says, no one will heed the call of an unsure trumpet. Like, you have to know where you're going, hell or high water. I don't care how hard it is. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how many books I have to read. Like, yeah, of course, I would like it to not take 10 years. If it does, so what? Like, I'm going there with or without you. And that's the sense of urgency. But, I'm a good friend, so I'm going to share the opportunity with you. I would never want to take that decision away from you, because that would be out of line. This is your decision, what you do with your health. This is your decision, what you do with your finances. Don't tell me that I didn't share it with you. Okay. So in a few years, when you're still really sick, or in a few years, if you still have huge financial problems, don't come back and be like, dude, why didn't you tell me? This would have been great. All right, that's a lot more, I'm sure, than Sabrina wanted me to say, but there's my little pep talk for the day, and she's gonna kind of add on a little bit.
So dang good. Tova's bringing the heat tonight. Okay, so I'm going to start off with I have a lot of similar things, and then I kind of go into my own style. So that's what makes Tova and I such a dynamic team is we are so different that we bring different things that equal the same end game. So I'm going to start off with a question that y'all can write in the chat. And are you excited or frustrated about your business right now? And it's okay to be both. It is okay to be both, but let's start there and keep, yeah, lots of excited, both, excited, both. These are great things. It's okay. And I'm going to tell you why. So are you frustrated by the results or are you frustrated by your inactivity? Let that one sink in. Here's the good news. One of those can easily be controlled and one doesn't matter. You are only responsible for things that you are in control of. You are in control of your own actions, and what you change is what you will succeed in. So just keep that on the back burner. But here's the thing. You need to know your destination. And that's exactly what Tova was just talking about. This has to be rock solid. I want this. I want time freedom from. I want financial freedom from this. You have to pinpoint what your destination looks like. If you're walking up this cliff, if you're hiking, right, and you know the end game, the end result is this beautiful waterfall, are you going to stop midway? Are you going to stop when it gets rocky or when it gets thin or when it gets a little bit scary or uncomfortable? No, you have that vision. You know where you're headed. So keep that destination in your mind and push through regardless. You want to show your friends, I am successful. You want to show the people who threw shade at you for whatever reason, you have to know that destination and conquer it no matter what happens. No matter what happens, know your destination. So set proper expectations. Understand that things are going to get hard and rocky. Understand that by setting expectations, nothing can stop you. There's going to be no surprises. Set those expectations now. Understand it's going to get uncomfortable, y'all. It is. This isn't easy. There's simple steps, there's simple tools, simple systems, but this is not easy. If it was, everybody in the world would be making 6 figures from their phones right now. Every single person. But yet y'all are here because you know what it takes. And those people have quit and gone. They're gone because they couldn't hang. They couldn't do it. So just know you're part of the elite. You're part of that 5% that is going to be okay with getting uncomfortable, and you want to excel over the 95% that are okay with being uncomfortable and stepping back. 5% are okay with being uncomfortable. Be the 5%. Don't be the 95%. Nobody wants to fall amongst the rest. Nobody wants to just blend in. Stand out. You're worth it. You have what it takes. You have the products. We have the compensation plan. We have the business model. We have the team. We have the support, the relationships, the actions. You have everything that you need to go past the 5%. Be the 5%. Talk to yourself. Don't let that inner critic take over. If we were destined to be what we allowed our self-talk to tell ourselves, that is borderline abuse. What we tell ourselves is the worst, most horrific thoughts or statements that anybody can tell us. We say it to ourselves, and yet we allow it. Stop telling yourself false accusations. It's not true. So stop that. Expect things to be hard. expect things to be rocky, and plan every step of your journey so there is no surprises. But during the harder times, have that destination set. Regardless, follow and go back to the reason why you started to begin with, because it's very easy to lose sight. Set your destination. I don't care if you have to write it on the wall, write it somewhere, know where you're headed, and truck through. That's how you're going to get there. Listen, just like Tova was saying about infertility, childbirth is hard. But in our mind, we have already set that it's going to be hard, that it's going to hurt, but it's worth it. No matter what it takes. Now, there's some people that don't want it, but no matter what it takes, you are going to do whatever it takes to be that mother, to do whatever it takes for that child. It's okay to get uncomfortable. It's okay to be scared, but the end result is way sweeter, way sweeter than just being uncomfortable little bits. Think about your child learning to ride a bike. If they fell off the first time, would you say, don't worry, you can just walk your bike everywhere. You can just walk it around and everything will be fine. Nobody will say nothing. No, you don't. You tell them it's totally fine. Get back on the bike. And when they learn to ride that bike, it is worth everything, because then they're out front all day. They're gone. They're out of the house. No, I'm kidding. But it is worth it because it's that freedom that they have been looking for. It's that achievement that they have been working for. And you tell them to keep getting back on, even though they fell. Failing forward is good. And it's okay. Fail forward. That's what we want. So let's talk about fueling your self-belief. So that's what I want to touch on tonight. And what that looks like is 3 different things. So if you came here tonight thinking, I need more self-belief, tell me all the magic things. I'm going to tell you what that looks like right now. Solid mindset, followed by solid actions, followed by solid relationships. Those 3 things. We're going to break those down. So get out your notes, because here we go. Solid mindset, figure out your why. We say this all the time, but you really need to take a step back and figure out what your why is, because that's going to set your destination. That is going to set your priorities, your actions, your mindset, your relationships, your beliefs. Your why is going to be your fuel. Figure out your why. It should bring you to tears. I know mine. Tova knows mine. It's a strong why. I'm never going backwards. Number 2, know where you want to go. What is it that you really want? What is it? Are you tired of working 9 to 5? Are you tired of not seeing your kids? Are you tired of being frustrated about being frustrated? Know where you want to go. Write it down. Write it down. Have a solid plan. Are you wanting something more? Think about that. Are you wanting something more? Figure that out. Address your inner critic, like I was talking about before. That person, that self-talk, that negative self-talk that goes on inside you is horrific. Stop it now. Call them out. That critic inside you is a bully. Call them out. Tell them to shut up. Call them out. It's over. It ends today. I've been reading Anxious for Nothing by Max Lucado, and I've been listening to a lot of Tony Robbins, and he says he needs to find his cue, and he says the word erase. Anytime something comes in, and he's like, oh my God, I have this, something, he says the word erase. And I've talked about this before. I use the word calm. That helps me. Find your word to shut that inner bully up. Shut it up, because it's only there to drag you down. Shut it up. Then affirm yourself. What does that look like? I'm going to break that down. Call out your inner strengths. So when you have all these negative self-talk, all of these negative things, all these bully words coming at you, find your strength and shout it out. And if you don't know your inner strengths, that is a problem. But yet there's thousands of ways to figure it out. I use, what did I just do with my book? Oh, Tova and I have talked about this one, the Strength Finder quiz. This is phenomenal. Figure out your strengths and call it out. Your strengths are what are going to empower you. God has given us all a set of strengths to utilize because nobody is the same. We are all different. We all bring different strengths to the table, and that's what makes us Team Grit. That's what makes us so different. Find your strength. Then we're going to go into solid action. So everybody's going to leave here feeling loved, like Christina says, but I'm going to call out some things tonight. And I just want you to know that this is all done out of love, but sometimes we need to hear it. There is a solid difference between actions and intentions. So we constantly judge ourselves around our intentions. And I'm going to tell you the difference and what that looks like. I was going to do my IPA. I was going to read 10 pages of my personal growth book. I was going to follow up. I was going to follow my dreams. That's intentions. I intended to do it, but it didn't really happen. Anything could happen along those ways, but you have to call it to action. I did my IPA. I read 10 pages. I followed up. I followed my dream. Things happen all the time, y'all. The other day, I had a flat tire, straight up flat. I thought I was going to bend my axle. You know what I was doing? I was on Emily Gibson's call. I had my AirPod in my ear, listening to Emily Gibson, doing training, figuring out how the hell I was going to go pick up my kids because my tire is literally like a pancake on my driveway. But I still showed up. There is time to do things in between. So what that will look like, calling yourself to action. I got a flat tire, so I did my IPA while my tire was getting fixed. That is calling yourself to action. That's what that looks like. Not, I got a flat tire, so it didn't really happen today. That's not going to get you to the destination that you wrote down. Now, we tend to give ourselves some leeway, and that is okay, but it is in our control to reel ourselves back in and to find ourselves and what we are called to do. Find yourself and call yourself to action because nobody's going to do it. Nobody else in this world is going to do it. You are destined to your own success. So be the person, be your biggest cheerleader. You have to be. Then let's go into solid relationships and what that really looks like. And I don't have too much more. So solid relationships, hear me out, y'all. Remove the negative people. Get rid of them. They are dragging you down. They are putting up too many blockages in your life. Get them out and set boundaries. You can't let these negative people in. If you have somebody coming to you venting and complaining and, oh, always me, something's always wrong, this is hard, that's going to tear you down. Stay positive, put up those boundaries. I know it's hard because sometimes it can be family members. That's the hardest part, but you have to set boundaries. Hey, listen, I need some space. I've been building my business right now. I feel really good about it. If you're not really doing so great in your business, I'm sorry, but I'm in a good place right now. We don't need to talk about that. There's other things in the day that we can talk about besides the negative. Find the positive and encourage others. This was really cool. I heard this in a podcast the other day, and they said there is power in encouraging others. Call out someone else's strengths and you will start to grow within yourself. Call someone out for being smart and showing up and being accountable and doing the things. And guess who's going to start doing it? You. There is power in encouraging others because it calls yourself to action. So those are the solid relationships that I like to focus on, just removing and building yourself. So what this breaks down to, y'all, mindset fuels your belief. That's going to be your fuel. Your mindset, what you tell yourself is going to get you there. Actions build your belief. Okay, so we're almost there, but relationships protect your belief. And you can't have one without the other. You need all three. You need to fuel, build, and protect. And you have that opportunity to do that within yourself. So remember this tonight. Failure is not fatal. It's growth. It's okay to fail as long as you're failing forward. The only way you can fail in this business is to quit. We're not a team of quitters. So you fail forward because it's growth. Get uncomfortable in failing forward. Check your mindset, fail forward, check your mindset again, and do it over and over and over again. It's okay. It's okay. It's never over, but it's worth it. So I'm going to call everybody to action tonight. And a little bit of homework. Doesn't take much, but I want you to intentionally think about this. Create a new daily discipline to grow yourself, whatever that may be. I started Bible study for myself in the morning. It does not have to look like that. Whatever it is, I'm going to say it again. Create a new daily discipline to grow and share it with your upline for accountability. So figure that out, what you're going to do daily. It can be a 1-second thing. It could be jumping out of bed. It could be a gratitude journal. Absolutely. It could be anything, whatever it looks like, but call yourself to action. And then we have just a few minutes. I want to play a game with y'all and we can get into the chat, but check this out. Okay. We're going to play the game and Christina Williams did this. So I didn't make this up. I can't take credit, but it's called Guess Who. So we're going to write our answers in the chat. Ready? This person that I'm thinking of was severely abused as a child. That was pretty rough. I should not have started with that one, but go with me. Came from extreme poverty, was told they were unfit for television, and fired as a TV reporter. Write your answer. Yep. You know, that's my favorite person on the planet. Oprah Winfrey, the richest woman in the world, was told she sucked at a very young age, that she was not worthy, that she was awful, that she should not be where she is. She's the wealthiest woman in the world and probably one of the most respected women in the world because she didn't care what other people thought. She knew she was destined for more. So that's Oprah, and that's why she's one of my favorite people in the world. So here's number 2. This person did not speak until the age of 4. Their parents believed their child to be subnormal, and they were expelled from school and described as mentally slow. Yep. Christy, you got that right off the bat. Yes, Albert Einstein, y'all. Isn't that crazy? Somebody called him out as mentally slow, expelled from school, and look what he accomplished. Unbelievable. So this person Christina talks about a lot is this person was unemployed, divorced, and raising their daughter on Social Security. This person's novels were rejected by 12 publishing houses. 12. Yeah. J.K. Rowling. Such an incredible human. Could you imagine if she gave up at the 12th? The 13th was the day that she resigned. Could you imagine if she just gave up? You never know what the next, and she didn't have any inkling. Like she didn't go into this thinking, I'm going to fail 12 times, but that 13th time, I'm still going to show up and I'm going to do it. No, she had to go to these publishing places, get rejected, go home, cry into her pillow, collect herself, check her mindset, go to the second one to do it all over again. Go back home, feeling rejected, cried in her pillow, got back up, did it again 13 times. 13 times. So there is lots of growth to be made here, y'all, and follow her lead because we are all destined for something. But if we quit early, we'll never get there. Last one. This person failed in business 3 times. This person also failed 7 times. That's a big number. 7 times campaigning prior to becoming the president of the United States. Who's got it? Who's got it? Anybody? Take a guess. Tova, you got it. Abraham Lincoln. Could you imagine if Abraham Lincoln was never president? Isn't that crazy? 7 times he failed at campaigning to become president. 7 times. Bizarre to me. So what that says, y'all, is your destination is not by somebody else's opinion, not by how many times you fail. It's by how many times you get back up. Don't listen to that inner critic. Punch that bully in the face. We got bigger things to handle, y'all. Thank you so much for jumping on tonight. I love you all. I hope you feel loved at the end of this. You are all so worthy and so amazing in my eyes. Let's crush September. Good night, y'all.